Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live and exclusive coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. We're coming to you tonight for round 7 at Silverstone Park. So before we get into it, let's introduce the co-host with the most host. There you go, how's that, Alex?
That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you, Bernie. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bernie. We are here, as you say, at Silverstone for, once again, we've cracked it for the second highest strength of field of the week, Bernie. Really, really pleased to say we're over the 4,000 mark in the strength of field tonight. It's bumped perhaps a couple of the regulars out, but this lineup that we've got tonight is a fantastic mix of local and overseas drivers once again, proving that not only is this track really popular with the high quality drivers, but so is the big Monday Night Lights event, Bernie. So looking forward to a fantastic race.
Yeah, it's an absolutely awesome turnout. We've got 17 in this split, 4 splits tonight. 2 17s, 2 15s, and of course we're in the top split here. And let's have a look at the points at the moment though, Alex, before we get into this. So at the moment, Luke Whitten's leading on 158 points, and he's had 6 weeks counted, but Enzo Cander's back tonight, 110 points, 5 weeks counted. Then we've got Dennis and Alex both tied for 3rd and 4th on 109, and Huckon is sitting down there on 103. That's our top 5. So it's looking at the moment like Luke's running away with it, but I have a feeling Enzo's going to have something to say about that.
I think you're absolutely right there, Bertie, as well. Enzo, of course, 3 times previously championed in the Monday Night Lights series and a couple of times in the official season overall. So he uses this evening's race as a bit of a springboard for that effort as well. But really great to see out of the top 5, 3 of them are local Australian New Zealand club members in Luke Whitten, Dennis Fiedler and Alex John, and also the little inter-team rivalry between Team Milo and Team Ovaltine and Dennis Fiedler and Alex John flowing over from the Super Skips into the Monday Night Lights, both sitting there inseparable 109 points and vying along with Enzo Cantor for those higher spots on the podium. So really fantastic to see a great turnout once again, Ben.
Yeah, it certainly was, and we noticed the Team Ovaltine taking it to Team Milo last night in the Australian Super Skip. So if you want to catch that, folks, of course, check out the replay on our YouTube channel. And but we're here tonight for the Monday Night Lights, and at the moment they're qualifying. Luke Whitten has set provisional pole, and let's bring up our qualifying standings. At the moment, Luke's set the fastest time, 2:08.161, with Cesar Armengod, I think that's right, in second. He's not far, 3,000ths of a second behind. Then Andrew Picario in third. 4th at the moment, Timothy Gaukridger, and rounding out our top 5 is Tim Hendrickson.
Yeah, Tim Hendrickson sitting there provisionally in 5th position. He's coming off a great performance in the 2K Cup very early this morning, our time. Managed to grab a 4th position there. So Tim's showing he's got great speed around here, as well as the ability to run with the really big guns. But having said that, there's some really big guns out here tonight. Some of the names you'll see around the track tonight are like Greg Seitz, who's just jumped up to provisionally take pole position after his first flying lap, Bernie. Greg Seitz is one of the top guys in this car globally, along with the likes of Enzo and even our own Luke Whitten, who's got the pace to burn around here as well. So hopefully the guys will put on a good display, equal of any other we've seen this week, Bernie.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tonight's race. It's got me very excited here. Might sound half asleep, folks. That's because I am, but I'm really excited. So I can see it.
Yeah, well, you've had a busy schedule, 4 nights in a row. This will make it. So I don't know that the guys here tonight will appreciate it, as will the rest of the community that support Bernie. So we'll pardon you for a few yawns. We know it won't be the on-track action causing it though.
No, it won't be. It'll be the dulcet tones of Mr. McKellar.
Hopefully I won't lull anybody else to sleep at the same time.
Oh, no, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
So the guys on their second lap now. Luke Whitten coming around to finish off his second of 2 flying laps at the moment, Bernie. He's just crossing the line now, and he's run up. Andrew Picario's jumped up, Bernie. Luke was actually 3/10 slower in his second lap, so sitting back in third after his qualification run, Bernie.
And look at the splits here, though. Oh, look, Caesar just jumped up. And it's all happening here now, folks. Caesar just snatched it with a 207.856. So he's thrown down the gauntlet, hasn't he?
Absolutely he has. I'm just watching Greg Seitz on board at the moment. He's coming through the final series of corners, just been through Priory. Oh, I can never remember quite how to pronounce that. Coming through the up to Luffield now, the final right-hander. He's going to try and, looks like he's going to double apex it, come out, goes wide as you can on exit there, Bernie. Not quite as wide as you can, actually. There's a bit more track out there you can use if you run on the AstroTurf there. Coming across the line now, Bernie. Let's see what one of the best in the world can do. Only good enough for second this time, Bernie, with a 208 there, 208.019, Bernie.
Yes, that's looking like Caesar's going to take, I'm assuming that's how we pronounce his name, Caesar, is going to take provisional pole here. And just having a look, all of them have done their 2 laps now. Luke Whitten's still out there, of course, but I'd say that's our grid. What do you reckon?
I'd say that's pretty much it, Bernie. That's who we're going to go with. So a fantastic lineup at the head of the field. Well, it's a fantastic lineup throughout, but really surprised to see Enzo as the quality session finishes now, way back down in 12th by the looks.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the grid, folks. So Caesar Armengod, he's going to start from pole position tonight. Greg Seitz in second position. Andrew Picario, will keep an eye on him tonight in third, with Luke Whitten in fourth. So the top 2 rows here, folks, is awesome. An awesome lineup. Timothy Gaukridger will start out of fifth, followed by Carlos Sainz in sixth position. Out of seventh tonight, Victor Carrizosa. Then we have Tim Hendrickson out of 8. Ninth is Timo Vascalampi. Hakon Grebstad out of 10th. 11th is Kevin Henderson. 12th, Enzo Cantor. 13th, we have Gustavo Condi, followed by Russell Clark in 14th. Out of 15th tonight will be Ben Snell. 16th, Jeremiah Morton. And rounding out your field of 17 is Benjamin Soko.
Yeah, great to see Benjamin back on the grid, even if he struggled a bit with his pace. Top qualifying time in the 207s, Bernie. Undrafted, that's a fantastic time around here. Track temp looks to be about 40 degrees, so we should see the guys drop into the 207s during the race, obviously, with a bit of draft. They all look like they're taking the grid now, ready for an exciting race.
Yeah, we can see them now just starting to line up, and cameraman, he likes his distance view here, folks, but I assure you we'll get in on the action very shortly as they go. Under starters orders here, waiting for the revs to rise, and we'll be going very shortly. So waiting for the green, we're under green here for round 7 of the Monday Monday Night Lights, and a nice clean start, but it always is till I get to the first corner, Alex.
That's right. They're sort of jockeying for position to get the inside running here into the first corner. Looks like Andrew Picario just making a move on Greg Seitz into turn 1. Greg using the full extent of the track on exit, getting the better drive out and holding on to that position. They're going 3 wide behind here with Tim Hendrickson on the outside there, Bertie. It's getting racy already.
Yeah, and we can see at the moment it's Caesar Armengod, Greg Seitz in second, third, Andrew Picario, fourth, Luke Whitten, Timothy Gaukridger. He's the last of this battle pack as they go 2 wide. That's Victor Carrizosa, and I think who's at number 12? That's Tim Hendrickson, I think.
Yeah, Tim Henderson having a good run there. I was seeing further back in the field, Carlos Urias Saints ran wide through the opening series of Maggots and Beckett's, rejoined in a less than ideal place. Got a bit of a spray from some of the field on the voice chat. Bernie, again, as they head through Stowe now, they're looking 2 and 3 wide here, trying to jockey for the early runnings, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see back here Hakon Grebstad, he's in 10th at the moment. Carlos Sainz 11th. I'm having a look for where Enzo is. Enzo is right down in 17th at the moment, so he's had a bit of a shocker at the start and a lot of work to do. But up front, it's all Andrew and Caesar at the moment battling it out, and I'm just seeing where they are. And then we have Greg and Luke and Timothy. They're starting to get a bit of a gap already.
Yeah, it looks like the top 5 really looking to make a break if they can. No doubt Timothy on the tail of that pack will be urging the guys on in front to see if they can keep what is a 1.5 second gap from Victor Carrizosa and Tim Hendrickson, just trailing them on the lead of another large pack, Bernie.
Yeah, we're just looking at the gearbox cam here of Luke Whitten, and we can see right behind him is Timothy Gaukridger. Let's jump to the front, and just ahead of him is Greg Seitz, but the front three, they're starting to get a gap as Luke goes very wide, and we'll have to polish the camera lens after that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably gone a bit too wide there, and Timothy, although he's tucking him back behind now, he won't be thanking Luke for that mistake because that's cost them the front pack, and I would expect the three, although Greg Seitz now making it too wide with Andrew Picario as they go through turn one again. It looks like they might be able to skip away there, Bernie, and although Luke now eagerly trying to catch back up, and it's actually Season Armengod who's cracked it for the breakaway early on, Bernie.
Yeah, he's got a gap of 0.3 of a second after lap one here, and we're just looking out of the nose of Andrew Picario, and we'll see how he goes as he's in the draft now, and we'll see if he's going to make a move. I don't think he's close enough yet.
Nah, this is probably your best passing opportunity on the track as you head down into Stowe after running down the Hanger Straight. You can run, I've seen 2 and 3 wide, usually 2 work, 3 is a bit of a struggle, but the quality of the drivers here should see them through okay, particularly on these opening laps, Bernie, but there's a big pack, a really big pack behind, all trying to eagerly catch on to that front pack. Håkon Grebsted now making a move down the inside as they head through the Vale chicane on lap 2, Bernie. Looks like he's almost got it done around the outside of Russell Clark there, grabbing himself one position there, looking to hold on to it. If he can hold on to ninth there and keep going, he'll be doing well. He's at great pace here this week. I'm surprised to see him so far down the order early on, Bernie.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see how far he can get up the field in ninth already. Enzo Cantor, he's also up to 15th. Keep an eye on him as he comes through the field tonight. And I tell you what, both Håkon and Enzo, they're going to have to be aggressive tonight if they want to get in the top 5, because they've only got coming down to 10 laps to go.
Absolutely, Bernie. Enzo's really got his work cut out for him. Poor qualification. He was last towards the tail end of lap 1. They're really sort of bunching up as they come through the closing sections here at Luffield and Brooklands there. They're really squeezing up in this tight bunch. It's very hard often to get your distance. We see a bit of nose-to-tail shopping cart style action sometimes, Bernie, but they've all managed to make it work at the end of lap 2 as they head across to start another lap, Bernie.
Yeah, and we're on Enzo Cantor's gyro cam here, as you can see, folks, and tell you what, he's a busy boy up the back here. There's a heck of a lot of traffic as he's making another move now on Gustavo, and Gustavo's a long way down as well, isn't he? Normally he's up pushing it up in the top 5 or 6.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. Bernie, Enzo got a great run out of Cops turn 1 there. He just made it work around the outside of Gustavo. He's now got Ben Snell well and truly in his sights. But if I jump up to the front 3, it's a front 5 still, Bernie. Looks like Luke Whitten's been able to bridge that gap. He's only half a tenth behind as they head down Hanger Straight on lap 3. Going through Stowe again now, line astern. They've got just under a 3-second gap on the chasing Tim Hendrickson, who himself is ahead of a long string of cars all the way back to all the way back to the tail of the field. It's one big peloton chasing down the breakaway bunnies, Bernie.
Yeah, well, let's see if the peloton can catch them somehow. I don't think they're going to today. I think this breakaway is going to survive, folks, to the end. But to give you an idea, folks, the top 5 are all separated by 1.8 seconds, which sounds like a lot, but it's not that much at all. They're all in the draft. We can see the end of this train and out of the gearbox cam here, and that is Timothy Gaukridger is the last in this one.
Yeah, I've got it down to about 1.3 seconds between Timothy and the leader, and that's at these sort of speeds. They're not a quick car, but they're doing between 100 and 130, and they're getting down to about 70 or 80 around these tight sections. But that one down to 1 second now between the top 5. That's not a lot of space to fit 5 cars, Bernie. These are big ones, but it's still not a lot of space.
It certainly isn't, and we saw there Greg showed his nose to Caesar, and he opted out of it. He got up a fair ways, but it's just letting him know he's there. Now he's going to show his nose a bit more, and we'll see if he's going to make that move. No, he doesn't. He's sitting in there, just putting the pressure on, waiting to pounce, so to speak. And of course Andrew, well, he wants to clean them all up. We've also got Luke back up on the pack, and I tell you what, I cannot pick a winner out of these 5 at the moment.
No, I think it'll be coming out of these 5 though, Bernie, because they've still got a 3.5 second gap now. They've opened up by about half a second. These guys are not battling too much. They're making their presence known amongst each other for position, particularly the front 3. I think Timothy and Luke are hanging on at this stage before perhaps making a charge if they can later in the race. But as they head down the hanger straight now, we see Greg Seitz move to the outside because Caesar he forced him to go around the long way. It is possible actually to be done around here, Bernie. If you can get a nice run through Stowe here, turn 7, you can actually get the inside into the Vale here, the Vale chicane. As you can see, Greg Seitz now holding that inside line. Braking nice and early is Caesar there, perhaps looking to do the cross back through the second part of the chicane, Bernie, but no, Greg Seitz has got a classic move done there. He set that up over a period of 3 or 4 corners, Bernie, and it's a high standard of driving indeed.
Certainly is, and Luke Whitten tried the same move there, and Andrew, but it didn't come off for Luke. He's dropped off. In the background we can see a car in the infield. We'll find out exactly who that was in a moment, folks, but at the moment Greg Seitz has taken the lead from Caesar. Andrew, though, he's moving up now. He wants to make a move, and Luke's now under attack from Timothy.
Yeah, those two at the back are probably itching to get into the action for the podium positions, Bernie. We should see how Andrew goes with Caesar now, because as we came through this section last time into turn 1, you noticed that Greg Seitz sort of moved over slightly to the centre of the track rather than the traditional driving line all the way over on the left. That was not so much as to show the leader his nose as to show that Andrew Picario in 3rd place that he wasn't welcome on the inside of turn 1, Bernie. It'll be interesting to see how Caesar handles that, although I'd suggest that Andrew's probably a little bit far behind this time. Turn 1 is another reasonably good passing opportunity on this circuit, Bernie, but no one's sort of close enough at this stage when they go through line of stern.
Yeah, Caesar got a far better run off the final corner and got a gap of a couple of car lengths. You can see now Andrew's just starting to pull him in now, and we'll see if he gets a run here. He's got to get out of the next couple of corners better, and then he'll get that slipstream, hopefully, possibly a slingshot as we come onto the back straight here.
Yeah, that run out of Beckett's into Chapel turn 6 that leads straight down here onto the hanger straight. Probably the most crucial point on the track if you want to get a pass done. We see now, once again, Greg Seitz now forcing Caesar to the outside if he wants to get his pass done. And Timothy Gorkrotcher had trouble pulling up there, almost ran into the back of Luke Whitten there, and he's potentially getting dropped here depending on how they go through the next Vale chicane next time through. He's been able to break on his natural line and catch him back up though, so a bit of a moment there, a bit of a scare for Timothy, but he's got through okay, and the front 5 continue on, Ben.
Yeah, well, on my camera, Timothy's actually got a bent front wing now, so he may have had a little bit of netcode touch there. But at the moment, it's Greg Seitz, Caesar Armengod, Andrew Picario, Luke Whitten, Timothy Gorkrotcher, and they just can't shake each other, but they've got a big gap, 4.3 seconds from the leader back to Tim Hendrickson now, and then we've got him and Timu Vascalampi going at it, and then behind him, Hakon, he's in 8th, he hasn't been able to improve, and I'm having a look, Enzo, he's now up to 12th position and moving forwards.
Oh, big move on the inside of Brooklands there, Bernie. Timo Vascalampi had a big look up the inside of Tim Hendrickson. They had actually gained about half a second on that leading pack in the last couple of laps, Bernie, as they come to the conclusion of lap 5 now. That cost them a couple of tenths, so you know, the smarter drivers in that pack, or all of them, as long as they'll be competitive, of course, but they'll be thinking 2 things. Can I get past to the front of this pack without costing us too much time? Because then some of them will hold out, you know, slim hopes of catching the guys in front, even though it's a 3, now back to a 3.5 second gap, Bernie. Yeah,
and that car we saw on the infield, folks, was, I suspect, it may have been Gustavo Condi. Just having a look at a replay here. Not sure if it was him actually, but Gustavo's had a big lose here, just coming, getting it all wrong there. I think that was out of Beckett's. I don't know where it is on the back straight there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's dropped well down the order now. He and Carlos Urias Sainz are both gone towards the tail end of the field now. Kevin Henderson at the end of the hanger straight into Stowe, looking up the inside of Enzo, who made a really good pass through the Maggots and Beckett's complex, and he's actually taken the outside running and held off Kevin there. These two have had quite a few battles through the seasons. As we see into where are they now? They're coming into Vale. Just ahead of them, I see the pack is getting really feisty in front of them. That's allowing what was a reasonable gap between these two and the guys in front to close up a bit. We know Enzo's got the pace. It'll just be depending on how he handles his little brother tonight, won't it, Bernie?
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier on. Him and his little brother didn't seem to be getting on very well, but it looks like they might have made amends here. Saying that, he got a very slow run out with Russell now jumping onto him. If you're wondering, folks, what we mean by his little brother, that's what he calls his brake pedal. So he's not fighting with his little brother. Well, we don't know.
He says his little brother's a little bit temperamental at times on his new pedals. So probably won't help him too much here. There's a lot of finesse required with the brake around here to get the rotation of the car right in one of 17 corners that exist on this track, Bernie. But jumping back up to the front now, Greg Seitz still sitting at the head of that pack. They're still, in the running order they have been for most of this race now. Cesar Armengol just tucked in behind him. All four of those guys got a really good run, or a very even run out of that first corner, with Cesar and Andrew and Luke really looking to apply some pressure to Greg Seitz as they head through the Maggots and Beckett's complex now. Heading through turn 5 at Beckett's, through to turn 6 at Chapel now. Really, as Greg Seitz runs a little bit wide there, that could well compromise him and put him under attack from Caesar towards the end of the hanger straight, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see the train coming down again now. We can see Caesar going to the outside. Can he do what Greg Seitz did a few laps before? I don't think he can. Greg's gone deep in there. Caesar's trying to hold on to the outside. Too wide through here. Can he do it? It's going to be close. I think he might just pull that off.
Yeah, look, he went quite late on the brakes there. And I'd suggest Greg went equally as late, but just on that narrower line. And Greg's actually got the better drive through Vale. Really well done. But you can see Andrew Picario all the while looking to sneak and grab that toe from Greg in front and stop Caesar coming back across, and really put pressure as they head into the second of these great chicanes down at Abbey, Bernie.
Yeah, and Andrew, he wanted to have a go there. He's tucked back in now. We're on the gyro cam with him as they come back into the stadium complex here. We're around about halfway distance now, folks. Well, we're just over halfway with 5 laps remaining after this one.
Yeah, they're heading into that infield section, as you say, Bernie, into Brooklands now. Really settling down into a good rhythm, this 5. That what was a 3.5 second gap a lap or two ago is now 4.5 second gap, I should say, to the trailing Tim Hendrickson, who's still on the end of a pack of half a dozen cars himself, with Kevin Henderson and Enzo Cantor in 10th and 11th respectively on the tail end of that pack. Russell Clark sitting there in 9th position, sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. But Enzo, a hard charging Enzo behind him, and a really strong Timu in front of him. So, and all the while Hawkon now looking to put the moves on Tim Hendrickson in P6 and 7 respectively, Bernie.
Yeah, and we've had our first retirement, folks. That is Victor Carrizosa has left the service, so we're down to 16 now. Gustavo Condi, 22 seconds down from the lead. He's the last one coming through now, and of course he's in 16th position.
Yeah, after that earlier incident that you might have caught a glimpse of earlier there, Bernie. Hawkon now getting the run out of Beckett's and Chapel now down the hanger straight. He's sitting in P7, getting up behind Tim Hendrickson. He's going to force him to go the long way round again. Hawkon with a great run. He's got it. It'll be almost a car length or a car. They're wheel to wheel, front to rear anyway by the time they head into Stone now. Although he hasn't quite got the drive that you expect. We've seen some of the other guys do as they head through there, Bernie, and he hasn't quite been able to get it done this lap.
And it's a very feisty battle pack here at the moment, and we saw, while you're calling that, Alex, the front guys were doing their usual shenanigans there up the back straight, closing in, but Greg Seitz is still holding out Caesar and Andrew in 3rd. Luke, though, he's still sitting in 4th, and Timothy is just nibbling at the back of the pack.
Yeah, these guys seem to sort of shape up every time they come through these passing opportunities, Bernie, but they all seem to sort themselves out, and Greg's driving a great race out front. You don't earn car plate number one, top-seeded driver in this sort of field without knowing how to handle these cars, Bernie, and he's showing every bit of that skill out here tonight. Once he sort of got himself in front there, he's made it really difficult for anyone to sort of have a really good look. Caesar's had a couple of looks through Stowe at the end of the hanger straight there, Bernie, but not been able to get it done quite as well as Greg did himself, and it'll be interesting to see how the final laps shape up, Bernie, as they head to the start of lap 9 now with just the 4 remaining.
Yeah, we saw Caesar then, he was having a look, as he does when he comes on the main straight, and it's interesting now, they're all starting to close back up again as they're coming up towards the back straight here, and then the shenanigans will resume, I'm sure of it. But it's interesting how that elastic band, it's stretching as they come through the stadium complex, and now it's contracting again.
Yeah, that's right. With the guys behind not being so close, they can get clean lines through that Beckett's complex. That'll close them up, and they'll do so again towards the end of this hanger straight as they head down into Vale again. Because once you've got the toe in front, the guys up the front will close right up, but they can only go so far, whereas the guys behind can, as you say, get full use of that elastic band. As well as we see Andrew Beccari up the inside of Caesar now through Vale. Oh, Luke running wide on the exit there. They're going to go too wide into Vale this time, Bernie, with Caesar having a look. Andrew running really wide. He's going to get a toe on the grass there. Re-enter there, and Luke's going to go around him and might even get the draw. He might lose 2 spots here. 3 wide for a moment they were, Bernie, on the exit of Vale there, and it looks like Andrew's lost out there. He might lose those 2 positions, Bernie.
Yeah, he's at the moment just tucked on the back wing there of Timothy. Goes in deep under brakes and snatches that one back, so he's recovered 1 position. But it just goes to show, folks, at this level of racing, a couple of wheels on the grass and you're in trouble. And Timothy, he's not going to give up yet. He wants that position back.
No, absolutely he does, Bernie. It looks like Andrew might pay a bit of a price for that, though. He's nearly on the magic 1 second mark. Although he closes up now. He's really starting to overdrive it a little bit, I have to say, Bert. He's going very deep into these corners and seeing the magic interval drop, but then on the exit, of course, he's compromising his drive out, and you can see he's just losing the back end of the draft of Luke Whitten, who's now sitting pretty in 3rd, Bernie. Meanwhile, Greg Seitz himself he's just 8/10 ahead of Caesar, and Luke chasing him down now, and there's every chance that he might just be able to break the toe on this lap if he's lucky, Bernie.
Yeah, in the pack behind them we've got Hakon leading Timu at the moment. Then we've got Enzo up to 9th. Then we've got Kevin Henderson. He's having a good run there in 10th with Russell Clark in 11th.
Oh, they're just going to make it through 2-3 wide now as they head through Maggots. Bernie through Beckett's in a sec now. Enzo going around the outside of Timu there, Bernie, as they head through Beckett's now and into Chapel and onto the hanger straight, although that's given Timu probably the better run and certainly the better use of draft. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the end of the hanger straight here. Timu sucking every bit of draft that he can out of Enzo, moving over to the outside now. He's actually going to pick up the draft of Hawkon in front, get a little bit of extra speed now as they head into Stowe. Enzo braking very late there, sending the rear of the car out to rotate through there nicely. Bernie's hung on for another lap, Bernie.
Yeah, it's getting pretty exciting back here, isn't it? With Enzo, Timu and Hakon. They're all fantastic drivers. Put all 3 of them together and it's almost as good as a Big Mac.
That's right, multiple layers of flavour there, Bertie. But yeah, look, this racing pack here, you would see at many high strength races during the week. But it's interesting to see that on this great event here tonight, they're battling for somewhat minor positions here with Tim Hendrickson, a lead of that pack, just for P6 at the moment, Bernie. Interestingly, Luke is really struggling to hang on to the back of Caesar there, and Caesar looking to use that pace that saw him grab pole here tonight to catch up onto the back of Greg now as they come around to complete lap 10 with just the 2 remaining, Bernie.
Yeah, and meanwhile Andrew's still under pressure here from Timothy, and he has not been able to recover from that 2-wheel off a lap or so ago. In fact, he's in a big chance here of being dropped by these guys if he can't pick up the pace.
Yeah, I'd say, although Luke sort of missed his apex through turn 1, run a little bit wide there, might just keep Timothy and Andrew with a sniff of hope there, although they're just about 1 second behind. Luke himself has now pretty much lost the draft of the front two, which is a real shame for him. Oh, the rear of the car really stepping out as he went through turn 4 there, through the Beckett's now. And he's probably off the back there. This race now looking like it's going to come down to Greg Seitz and Caesar Armengol at this stage, Benny.
And meanwhile, Enzo's made his move. He's up to 7th. He's got past Hakon. Timu is still behind Hakon, so Enzo's on the move, but he's got quite a bit of a, well, not a big gap. He's right behind him, actually. There you go, contradict myself. And he's now starting to work on the back of Tim Hendrickson.
Yeah, well, at this stage, fighting now for P6 with Tim Hendrickson. That's about as far up the order, barring incident, he's going to get, assuming he can get the move done on Tim. That's already up 5 positions from what was a poor qualification by his standards, Bernie, although he's still got to contend with the hard-charging Håkon Grebstad behind him in P8, Bernie. This battle of 3 is going to go down to the wire, just like the battle of 2 up the front, Bernie.
Yeah, and we're back up the front having a look at this, and as you said, Luke is being dropped, but I've noticed tonight, Alex, Luke is taking very wide exits on a number of corners, which especially coming out of the stadium here, which I think is just costing him a good exit speed, and of course costing him down these longer straights.
Yeah, well, he turns in quite sharply, rotates the car around. It usually serves him quite well, but it looks to me like he's missing the odd apex just a little bit tonight, and that might be compromising his exits a little bit. He can't quite carry the same speed on exit if you don't get the middle of the corner right, and that of course is all set up with entry. So it might just be the conditions here, Bernie. They might be a bit slippery here at about 40 degrees tonight. So even still, we're still seeing lap times in the order of 2:07 lows, mid to lows, Bernie. So the pace has certainly been on regardless.
The pace is phenomenal at the moment, and you can see now Luke's dropped right back into the clutches of Andrew. Andrew's got a sniff here, and he can see a podium in his short-term future. See, now I'm reading tea leaves. We'll see how he goes.
Yeah, no, he's caught back up to Luke there. He's got the run here. They're on the final lap, of course, and this is where it's all going to count. If I jump up the front now, doesn't look like Caesar's quite, he might get really close here at the end of the hangar straight. He's coming into Stowe now, gone to make that move around the outside. Be interested to see. He hasn't been, he's gone very deep, Bernie. That's good news in terms of his chances as they head into Vale again. Greg really keeping him over to a tight line if he can. No, he moves out now to sort of take a more traditional driving line. 2x2 they go through here, Bernie. And Greg, once again, making that outside line and the entry into Vale work for him, Bernie. That's fantastic driving. Luke Whitten, on the other hand, has not been able to say the same. He's lost out to Andrew Picario there and dropped back to 4th, and will be both chasing Andrew to see if he can't get it done through the next chicane here at Abbey, although Andrew moving right over to the left to cut him off on that inside run. Luke going around the outside. Not the same potential here as in the previous chicane, and again he's going to come under attack from Timothy now as they head down through bridge now, Bert. Timothy's going to go up the inside. He might lose that doubly depending. Oh, he's got the inside again. Oh, it's all happening, Bertie.
It certainly is, and I tell you what, as they come off that back straight, Andrew took the outside, Luke undercut him again, but then Andrew got him on the inside, so great battle here. But we're coming into the final corners here now, folks, and up front, if we jump up there, it's Greg Seitz, Caesar Armengol for 1st and 2nd. Here, Caesar not going to be able to do it. Jumping back to 3rd, it looks like Andrew's safe. Timothy's snatched 4th. Luke Whitten, he's held out for 5th position. Now we go back, and it's all on back here as well.
I tell you who we've lost. We've seen Håkon and where is it? Håkon has, there's a few engines being blown in, I don't know, out of frustration or celebration, I'm not quite sure, but we saw Håkon and Enzo lose out in that battle with Tim Hendrickson, and Tim has jumped both of them, Bernie. I'm not sure what happened there. I might jump back and see what I can find.
Yeah, we had an off-track on lap 11 by Håkon, so we're going to jump back and have a look at that and see if that tells us the story.
Yeah, I'm just going to see see if I can't find where that was. I'm struggling to find it myself. Oh, gee, they've gone two abreast into where's that? That's into Abbey by the looks, Bernie. The second chicane there. They've gone to make it 3 wide by the looks there, Bernie. Hawk on the outside with Timu going through the middle there, and Enzo on the inside. And Enzo's just, I think he's come together with the front to rear wheel with Timu there, Bernie, and that's just unsettled him. And by the same token, it looks like Hawkon's got through there okay. That's certainly what happened to Enzo, Bernie, but I'm not sure where Hawkon must have just got overtaken on the previous straight, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, we're having a look at the replay now as we see now Enzo tripping over Timu, and that has upset Hawkon and allowed, who's that coming right up through the middle as they go 3 wide, the number 6. Who's that?
That's Timu Vascalampi, Bernie. Yeah, look, it all started back at the Vale chicane there, the first one there. Enzo's gone very deep. He's outbraked himself. Little brother's not serving you very well there, and then that's allowed Tim Hendrickson to go around the outside on the exit of Vale, and that battle then's continued on. And I'm he's clipped Tim Hendrickson on the exit there. They both seem to have got away unscathed, but what that did is that cost Enzo the run and allowed Timu to go through the middle, as you probably suggested, and then Timu's got the best run out of all that. Probably cost Hawkon a great deal as well, but then Enzo's tried to come back as they went through Vale, and it just couldn't quite get it done, Bernie, and that's cost him a couple of positions in the end.
Yeah, and then the traditional Skip Barber fireworks go off as they finish the race. Who said Silverstone doesn't have fireworks, folks?
Oh, I'll tell you what, there was some action out there, wasn't there, Bernie? It's been a great week of racing here, and tonight certainly lived up to that as well.
It certainly did. It was a great race. A lot of action, and a couple of retirements. One of them was Victor Carrizosa. We'll see if we can find out what happened to him. Ben Snell also having some bad luck there, or something went wrong with him. He finished 4 laps down, so we might see if we can find out exactly what's gone on with those guys, and then we'll go through our results, and then check in the green room. No one for interviews yet. See, I'm making sure I check.
Yeah, well, they're probably still debriefing in the server at this stage, but we'll see who pops up down the track.
Yeah, so we're having a look at what happened here to Ben Snell, and we've jumped back to lap 8. And, we'll just have a look. 2 wide. Oh yeah, big contact there, and that was coming in towards Beckett's.
Alright, I'll see if I can't find it there, Bernie. You're challenging me though, I have to say. Alright, so I've got him now. I'll just see if I can't.
I'm just making it up. It looks like Beckett's. It's a curvy bit on the circuit.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to catch it now as they head through the end of the hangar straight through the chicanes there. Yeah, no, I haven't caught it, Bernie, but certainly whatever the outcome there. Oh yeah, you're right, actually it was through the opening section of the corners there, the section of the track there, Bernie. He was battling with Jeremiah Morton. Actually, and he's just caught the outside of the ripple strip on toe on the grass, and that's sent him across the track pretty much of his own accord, and he's had it coming together with Jeremiah Morton at the same time. So bad luck for Jeremiah there, no fault of his own there, and just got caught up in Ben Snell's incident.
Yeah, I'm just having a look if we can see what happened to Victor Carrizosa here. I have a feeling he was the person we saw drop off at the start of the first couple of laps there. I did see a spinner back there. Looks like his race ended on lap 3, and we'll jump back and have a look at this.
Yeah, see what we can find. I've got him there till about lap 6, but I'm not sure. Bernie, he was on the back of Hawkins' group with Tim Hendrickson and co, and he just trying to see where he's come unstuck. No, I lost him. He might have actually lost network connection, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, he may have, because he's coming up out of Beckett's now, and he's looking fine there, and there's no incident there. But anyway, let's
Yeah, you're right. So I just checked the server logs, and he's had a network error and just disconnected
Okay.
involuntarily, as it were, or involuntary.
That's no good at all, but it looks like we've had a really strong, clean race here, folks, and a couple of retirements. But let's have a look at the full race results. We'll see who the mover and shakers are. I don't think there's going to be too many, but let's go through them. Greg Seitz holds on for the win tonight. Pretty much started out a second and took the race. He led 9 laps of that race. Caesar Umangod, he comes home second. He led the other 3. So Andrew Picario comes home in third, followed by Timothy Gaukridger in fourth position, Luke Whitten fifth, sixth, Tim Hendrickson. Are you drinking your cup of tea?
Nah, sorry. Sorry, mate.
Timu Vascalampi home in 7th. 8th is Hakon Grebstad, followed by Enzo Cantor. He jumped 3 positions, coming home in 9th. Kevin Henderson, he comes home in 10th tonight, with Russell Clark up 3 positions, coming home in 11th. 12th is Benjamin Soko. He jumped 5 positions. So at the moment, he's got the Mover and Shaker award. Then we have Carlos Sainz home in 13th. Jeremiah Morton, we didn't see much of Jeremiah tonight, but he came up 2 positions to finish 14th. Gustavo Condi dropped 2 positions to finish 15th. 16th was Ben Snell, and then Victor Carrizosa, he dropped 10, and he was our only retirement for this evening.
Yeah, well, it was quite a star-studded field and an action-packed race as a result, Bernie. Some of the names sprinkled throughout the field. Like I said, there'd be a dozen, midweek race winners in that field for sure. And but unfortunately for them, only one winner tonight, and that was Greg Seitz, car plate number 1. As I said, top seeded driver coming into here, and they don't hand out 6,000 plus I ratings in cereal boxes these days, Bernie. They're hard earned, and he showed tonight what I thought was a really cool display of how to control a race, using every bit of the circuit to his advantage. Made his move and made it stick, and then defended really, really well. Like, it wasn't aggressive defence, it was just really quite intelligent defence, I thought. Leading of the Australian drivers were Timothy Gaukridger and Luke Whitten in 4th and 5th respectively. Luke Whitten grabbing some good points towards his Monday Night Lights championship, of course, and he'll extend his lead over Enzo Cantor, who was currently sitting in 2nd, finishing all the way down in 9th. Enzo will grab some points, but obviously not as many as Luke. It'll be interesting to see how some of the other guys, like Alex J. John and Dennis Fiedler, who would have been relegated to the second split tonight due to the nature of the field here in this massive 4,000 strength of field here, Bernie. But having said that offers them a good opportunity to score slightly less points but finish further up and still grab a good haul, Bernie. So it'll be interesting to see how they all shake out at the end of it.
Certainly will, and yeah, second highest split this week once again, which is fantastic. I'm also having a look at the international flavour we've got here tonight. We've got Greg from Northwest, Caesars Iberia, the New York for Andrew Picario. Benelux is where Tim Hendrickson is coming from, and of course Timu coming in from Finland. We've also got Hakon in Scandinavia and Enzo in Italy. So we've got a lot of Europeans here, and some of the American drivers have joined us as well. So we're definitely getting that nice international flavour happening.
Yeah, well, the word's getting out, I guess, Bernie, that you can score some good points down here towards your official season championship. Of course, the iRacing calendar divided into 4 distinct seasons, the winners of which get a bit of glory, and sometimes, as per last season, iRacing actually puts on a day out at the Skip Barber School for the winner of that. So plenty of incentive for the guys to come out and race, and the big points on offer here. So the winner tonight, Greg Seitz, took 229 championship points. Now, for a mug like me, that's almost 2 weeks worth of points in one race, Bertie. So plenty on offer for the guys to come out, and obviously it's starting to get a bit of an appeal because once again, the second highest strength of field a race for the week, it's a great thing for the local guys as well, because they get their chance in a good time zone to grab some good points, Bernie.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's one of the main reasons this series was set up, so it's been very successful with doing what it intended to do, which is fantastic. But looking at the week ahead, folks, our next coverage on RRTV will be Saturday night for the Asia Pacific GTE series. Now, these guys are racing for the winner. Well, the winner is racing to get a drive in a Caterham, which of course Caterham's put up as that grand prize in that series. So come and check that out. It's got the best of the Asian Pacific GTE drivers joining us every Saturday night, and last Saturday night was quite an interesting race indeed. We had a few audio glitches, but apart from that, it was a good run. But if you find it a bit lonely this week without many RRTV telecasts, or you can go back and have a look at the replay. Starting last Friday night, we had the V8 supercars on, followed by the GTEs Saturday night. Sunday night was the Australasian Super Skips, and of course tonight rounds out that 4-day streak. But Alex, what do you got planned for this week? Can the folks go and watch you racing around any tracks this week?
Yeah, well, it'll be the Skippies, of course, Bernie. We're off to Road America as of tomorrow in the Skip Barbers in the official season, so I'll be over at Top Split TV on Twitch, applying my trade, as it were. But also, everyone, make sure you head over to the topsplit.com. The latest episode of my podcast, conveniently named The Top Split, is out, where this month I spoke to Benny Simonson, who took out, coincidentally, last night's Australasian Super Skip race at Interlagos. Benny's a professional race car driver. He drives, if you can believe it, what's been newly released on iRacing, the Ferrari 488 in the GT series around the world. So I had a great chat with Benny, learnt a lot about the mindset of a professional driver and what they bring to iRacing. So it's a good bit of an insight into that. If that's what interests you, head over to the topsplit.com or look up the Top Split on iTunes or any of your favourite podcatchers and check it out.
Yeah, I've been listening to it today on the way to work, and I'll finish it off in the morning on my way to work. But the biggest news about your fastest lap at the moment, I've heard I'm still the fastest driver around there. So, I don't know what's going on with these guys. They just can't catch me.
You might have just been pipped there, Bernie, just by a smidge. I mean, but having said that, you got someone like Benny who, without giving any spoilers away, he put out a good fight for the top of the leaderboard as well. But it's starting to become quite an illustrious list you're on there, Bernie.
Yeah, I want to see that list, and I want it in Photoshop format, if you don't mind. It's all good and fun, and if you're wondering what we're talking about, folks, it's the driver in the neatly priced car, or whatever the equivalent of Top Gear, isn't it? You throw us in a Skippy and make us drive around Okayama or something like that.
That's exactly right, Bernie. Similar to the star in a reasonably priced car concept from Top Gear, we grab a Skippy and fang it for a couple of laps around Okayama, and we maintain the leaderboard. So that's all over at the topsplit.com. It's also linked in the podcast episodes as well, so you can check it all out there. All the replays are up on the Top Split YouTube channel as well. So plenty of stuff to keep people busy over there, Bernie.
Fantastic. Well, folks, that's the end of our telecast tonight. I hope you've enjoyed round 7 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights as much as Alex and myself did calling the race. And hope you have a fantastic work week, and we look forward to your company next time. But Alex, it's time to say goodnight. So I've said goodnight, and now you can wrap it up.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you, folks.